Hello everyone, this is just a really quick last minute paper 2 kind of summary with a few little top tips. If you want more detail about paper 2, I've also just uploaded a video which goes through each of the questions briefly and gives you a little bit of an update on the new exam because some of the questions have changed very slightly. Okay, but this is just a really short video. If you want more details, as I talk you through, I'll tell you which of my videos you can look at for more details. Okay, so first of all, timings for paper 2. So this is really much more of an issue than with paper 1 because they've only really given, so the timing is now 2 hours. So I just need to add that on here. I haven't put the total time. It used to be 2 hours. So very generously, they've now put it up 5 minutes. So I don't know if that's really 20 minutes longer than paper 1, and you've got a whole other text and loads more questions. But it is possible if you stick to these timings and really focus. So I would recommend to a lot of my students to do the writing first because they're often a lot more confident on the writing. It's quite a lot of marks. You can just get it out of the way, and then you really feel like you've got 25% of your whole GCSE under your belt and done before you go to the reading. Okay, so but you might want to do it last, that's fine. But whatever, you need to leave 45 minutes at least to do your writing. Okay. Then I think the easiest way to think about timing, rather than like breaking it down to each individual question, which gets really bitty and confusing, text 1, 30 minutes. So that's doing the 2 little questions and question 3, which is a longer question. So all the questions on text 1 in the first 30 minutes. Then do all the questions on text 2 in the next 30 minutes. So that's reading the text and answering the questions. And then 7A and B, you've already read the texts, you've already done a lot of the work, so you only need 20 minutes to do those. And obviously most of the time needs to be spent on B, because A, again, you can do very quickly, okay? So hopefully, if you just keep those timings in mind, you shouldn't become too unstuck with it, okay? But do have an attempt at every question, even if you haven't got that much time, just have an attempt, okay? Because you'll get a few marks for writing something. Right, so a little brief summary here. Paper 2, reading. As I've gone through my other videos, think about purpose, audience and format. So this will really help your explanation. So if you think about, so for example, if it's a letter, who has the letter been written for? So who is the audience or the reader of the letter? That will really help you in your question 3 about the reader. So make sure you think, who did the writer have? So think what you're thinking is, who did the writer have in mind when they were writing this? Who is their audience? Who is their reader? And then again, that then also links into the purpose. What is it that the writer was wanting to get from his or her mind into the reader's mind? What do they want them to understand or be persuaded about or know or do because of reading it? Okay, if you can get a really clear idea of the purpose and the audience in your head, that's going to really help you with your explanation because you can link back to the purpose. Okay, and that will show, and then that again links to being specific, that will show the examiner that you've understood this particular text. You've not just said, oh, this will persuade the reader about what the writer thinks. Okay, well, who is the reader that needs persuading about what? Okay, what exactly does the writer want the reader to do? Okay, be specific. And obviously I went into being specific in a lot more detail on my last minute paper 1 tips. So if you haven't looked at my paper 1 tips, just watch the first, I think it's about 5 minutes of that video, and that'll all be explained about being specific. Okay, and then if you've written the PAF on both of the texts, then when you come to do 7B, you can use a comparison of the purpose and audience and format. So how are they different or the same in the 2 different texts? And then you can also use some of the language that you've highlighted for question 3 and question 6, so you can compare those as well. So that will really help you. But again, look back on my videos about how to do question 7 if you are not sure about that. Okay, and then so the writing then, again, format's really important here. So you need to think, okay, what is it I'm writing? So really carefully read the question. Are you writing a letter? Are you writing a speech? Are you writing an article? Sometimes they ask you to write a book chapter, which is a bit bizarre, but there you go. So A letter, obviously, you don't have to worry about the address and all that, but you need to have dear, I'm writing to blah blah blah, and at the end, thank you for reading my letter. Please get back to me soon, or whatever you want to end it. Yours sincerely. A speech. Hello everyone, I'm here today to talk to you about. So you think about that kind of chatty way that you might make a speech. Is there any questions? Thanks for listening at the end. And then article, you might want to have a title. Think about how you're going to structure that with really clear paragraphs, that kind of thing. Okay. Book chapter, you could just put chapter 1 and then a title, something like that. Okay. So, and obviously also think about your purpose and your audience, if it's specific purpose and audience, because that's going to be something that the examiner is going to be checking for when they mark it. Then we've got Daft Forest. So you might have learnt something different. When I teach my students about persuasive features, I give them this mnemonic Daft Forest, but your teachers might have taught you something different. But it doesn't really matter. Whatever, don't suddenly think, oh, I've got to learn this one. If you've learnt something different, stick with that. Don't go changing everything at the last minute. But what I say to my students is write down Daft Forest on your exam paper, and then right next to it, you probably won't remember all of these, but if you can even if you only remember 5 or 6 of them, then it helps you to think about things that you can include in your writing. Okay, so top ones I think are rhetorical questions, because they help you address your audience. Exaggeration is quite a good one, emotive language, but also I think really important is anecdote. So because again that links to being specific. So it's giving a specific example, is giving, so an anecdote is like a little personal story, a little personal example. So obviously you can make it up, or it can be about a friend or family member. It doesn't have to be about you. To illustrate your point, to make your story more, your point of view more believable. So if you were writing something about public transport and how buses are really rubbish, you could write a little story about how you were waiting for 3 hours for a bus and your fingers froze or something. Okay, so you make a specific example. Okay, and then also make sure that you use a range of punctuation and a range of sentence lengths to really just show off your whole range of skills to the examiner. Now, if you want some real little top tips on how to kind of sneak a range of punctuation into your writing, then have a look at my punctuation video that I put up a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Good luck. If you want any more details on any of these things, then just have a look at my other videos which specifically look at each question in more detail. And I really hope that you get some nice texts on Friday and you all do really well. Okay, good luck. Bye.